new archetypes, a 6-star flag bearer, and a chapter bound to bring us incredible amounts of emotional damage. What more could you ask for? Considering the fact that Chapter 9 will bring us emotional damage, the fact that this banner is full of units who focus more on support is appreciated since we'll all need it emotionally. Saileach and Mulberry just got skins on CN the other day, which is a nice little tidbit of coincidental timing, although I won't forgive them for neglecting my girl Roberta. As for the new skins coming to Global, we'll get a free Pinecone skin from the login bonuses, debuting the Shining Step series, while Arknights will receive an 18 cost skin, looking super cute and having very sparkly attack effects, and Astasia will receive a 15 cost skin, continuing her trend of receiving the absolute prettiest skins in the game. We'll also be getting modules for AoE medics and long-range snipers. Nightingale, Talopsis, and Breeze getting an extra tile of range, as well as some extra stats. An extra 40 attack and 5 resistance for the 6-star, and an extra 60 max HP and 30 attack for the 5 stars. Perfumer will also receive an HP and an attack boost, but for 55 and 25, although instead of an expanded range, she'll now heal 4 allies at a time. As someone who uses Perfumer as my main AoE medic, I view this as an absolute win. Firewatch, Andriana, and Ambriel will also receive modules. Firewatch now gaining 1 extra SP each time she attacks but doesn't kill the enemy, helping her set off her skills quicker, and having plus 80 max HP and plus 60 attack as buffs. Andriana and Ambriel receive the same stat increases, being plus 70 HP and 65 attack for the former, and plus 65 HP and 55 attack for the latter, but their buff is different, increasing their attack depending on the distance of the enemy they're targeting, going up to a max of plus 15%. Now, without further ado, let's talk about these new units.
Hello! 私は Roberta! また会えたね。ここにサインしたら君専属のスタイリストになれるってことかな。オペレーターになる？どっちでもいいよ。ここにいられるなら問題なし。
Roberta holds a very special place in my heart because she's the last gacha 4-star that's been implemented up until this very moment. Crossing my fingers we'll get more someday. She's also a brand new archetype, has an incredibly pleasing color palette, and also yells names of makeup products in the middle of battle, so all in all, perfect in every way. Reminder that stats are shown at 200% trust, and since Roberta's a 4-star, I'll be talking about her as if she's at max potential, since if the gacha gods are kind enough, it shouldn't be that hard to get her there. Starting off with what she even is, we now have our very first Artificer, a melee supporter that uses support devices in battle. She has 3 of them, and when placed adjacent to another melee unit, it grants them an extra 23 or 33% defense. Of course, depending on whether she's at E1 or E2, and 1 or 2 shields, which entirely negate any damage dealt to the unit the next 2 times they're hit. Basically, a portable mudrock trial for whoever you please. These devices last 25 seconds before automatically retreating, and if you point multiple towards the same unit, the defense increase from them doesn't stack, but the shields do, potentially giving an operator 6 layers of shield, which is amazing. It says that only 3 can be deployed together, and I'm honestly not entirely sure what that means. I've watched a few different showcases, and that doesn't seem to be the literal case, so I'm confused to see if the translation is slightly different when she's released on Global. As a new archetype, her stats are interesting. Compared to the other melee 4-stars, her attack is higher than a 2-block Vanguard, but lower than the average guard, while her defense is lower than that of defenders, but higher than any other type of unit. Either way, both these things get an increase with her first skill, making her attack and defense go up by 35% for 30 seconds, leading them to be 647 and 590 at E1 max, or 769 and 655 at E2 max. As a first skill, this isn't bad at all. Her main utility is obviously the support aspect of her devices, but since she's a melee unit, she will be attacking something at some point in time, and this buff is a great help to knock down enemies quicker, as well as allow her to receive less damage. For her utility, I don't recommend M3ing this skill, but just so you can know the values, the buff is now an extra 50%, bringing her attack up to 855 and 727. Really impressive for a 4-star whose focus isn't even on attacking. The defense increase on this skill is also really good since she is a defensive unit, but skill 2 offers the same increase at level 7, as well as allowing her to now block 3 enemies. And the part that ties in most with her unique ability, it gives her a styler as soon as the skill ends. This makes her already existing status as a quasi-tank go up, bringing her defense to 655 at E1 max and 727 at E2. Or if you choose to M3 this, the increase is 80% and brings her up to 873, 25 seconds of having defense that's higher than a completely maxed out Nyan. Not really a downside, but gaining the styler at the end of the skill duration as opposed to at the beginning can make timing a little more inconvenient, but that's really just a nitpick.
Roberta is a great introduction to a brand new archetype and a pretty solid unit in general. Plus, from voice lines to gameplay, she has so much meme potential.
こんにちは。私は援国災害救援組織春剣から研修のために派遣されてきましたもので、名前はごめんなさい。ここではコードネームを使うんでしたよね。すみません。申し訳ないです。私のことはマルベリーと呼んでください。
Mulberry is our newest medic and is also a new archetype, having the ability to heal elemental damage, that being the neural and corrosion damage aspects we've seen in events, as well as burn damage, which is something that's yet to be introduced to global as of the moment I'm writing this script. Her elemental damage heal is worth 50% of her attack, but with those things it's more of a watching the damage circle go up instead of seeing the numbers. But yeah, that can be pretty useful. Definitely wish we had a medic like her when the Under Tides event came out. Because of this archetype's specialty, it seems like their actual attack is quite a bit lower than the average medic, but Mulberry does have a slight fix to this, increasing her and any other medic operator's attack by 6 or 10% depending on her promotion level, as long as she isn't the only medic on the field. First skill increases the potential of her next heal and elemental damage recovery to 150%, prioritizing the ally within her range who's taken the highest elemental damage so far. This takes 5 seconds to charge, so it should happen approximately every third attack, and it can hold 1 charge at level 7. If she's the only medic on the field, the attack increase brings her next heal to 517 at E1 max or 634 at E2 max. But in the case where she isn't, those respective values are 570 and 697. While her attack may be on the lower side, a consistent attack boost and healing is always nice. And if she were to heal herself with this, including the values from the talent buff, it's nearly half of her max HP. If you prefer skills like this when it comes to medics and find the extra elemental damage recovery bit quite useful, bumping this up to M3 increases the potential of the heal to 180% and can now hold 2 charges. Although if that's the main selling point for you when it comes to this skill, M1ing it is enough. This also brings the charge down to 3 seconds, meaning pretty much every other heal will be for a value of 761 if she's by herself, or 837 with her talent. Skill 2 reduces her attack interval to 33% of what it is, once again prioritizes healing the ally with the highest elemental damage taken, but also allows all allies within a range to receive 28% less elemental damage. This is definitely less universal than her first skill, the elemental damage heal now feeling more like what it's meant for instead of just being a bonus, since in stages where that isn't a thing, the only aspect of the skill is the attack interval reduction. But don't get me wrong, it's always a delight to see medics with skills that allow them to heal faster because of their usually extremely lengthy attack time. Now attacking once every 0.94 seconds, in the 30-second skill duration she can get in 31 heals, compared to only being able to get in 25 during the 72 seconds the skill takes to charge. While there's no attack increase, skills like these definitely still have a time and place where you feel like the speed of the heals can help save someone's life better than the amount of HP the heal recovers. And if speed is what you need, M3ing this reduces the attack interval down to 26%, allowing her to heal every 0.74 seconds, 40 times in total during the 30 seconds the skill lasts. The decreased elemental damage for allies also goes up to 35%, which is great in scenarios where it's applicable. All in all, Mulberry's job is as a support or even just backup healer. While her normal attacks prioritize allies with the lowest HP like all medics do, during her skills she will prioritize someone with a nearly maxed out health bar but has some elemental damage, as opposed to someone who's nearly dying but just from normal damage. As a regular medic, she's well balanced but has an even lower attack than our 3-star medics. While her main thing is pretty niche, I can still see it being extremely useful when you get the chance to use it. And as I said before, I really wish we had her when the Undertides event came out. I'm pretty sure that with all that in mind and the fact that her talent is literally called Helper, which activates when she isn't the only medic on the field, Mulberry was made with the intention of being a support healer instead of your main one. And for that, I'd say she does a really good job.
あなたがロドスの指揮官ですね。新人オペレーターのサイラッハ。ただいま着任いたしました。
Ah yes, she's finally here. Jeanne d'Arknights. Our first 6-star flag bearer brings a lot to the table beyond just DP, really showcasing the support aspect of her tags. Her first talent is the giant flag she's holding. Within the 8 surrounding tiles of her end sign, at E1, allies gain +5 attack speed and enemies have -5 attack speed. Not super noticeable, but more so at E2, where these numbers are +10 and -10 instead. She also gets another talent which allows the next operator you deploy to cost 2 less DP, which is appreciated considering the fact that her biggest downside is her cost. 12 DP for a unit you want to put down as soon as possible but won't be reliable for attacking or blocking, so you won't be able to put them down all alone, is quite a bit. First skill, there's not much to say about it. Every 29 seconds, she'll give you 18 DP over the span of 8 seconds. Just like Myrtle and Elysium, her block count is reduced to 0 during this and every other one of her skills. Maximizing the speed in which you can obtain DP by M3ing this skill reduces the charge time to 26 seconds and brings the initial SP up to 15. It really is just a DP obtaining skill, so moving on to her second one, this is where her support aspect comes in strong. As per her archetype, she stops attacking enemies and gradually obtains 20 DP over the span of 15 seconds, passing her end sign to whichever ally has the lowest HP within her new range. They get an extra 35% defense and are healed by 35% of Saileach's attack every second until she takes the end sign back. At E1 max, that number would be 174, leading to a total heal of 2,614 by the end of the skill duration, while at E2 max, the heal per second is 198 and 2,971 in total. By itself, great, awesome. We love an emergency heal, and the fact that the charge time is barely double the duration at 32 seconds makes it even better. But the true selling point of this is without a doubt the fact that it can heal any operator the ensign is passed to, including units who belong to Helliger and Mudrock's archetypes, or even Kaltzit's monster. That is impressive. If you want to maximize the healing to its fullest potential because you're so happy you can finally heal Mudrock, M3ing this skill brings the value up to 50% of her attack, being 283 at E2 max, making the total amount of HP recovered by the end of the skill duration 4,245. Continuing with the Mudrock healing hype, if she was on the very brink of death before this skill was activated and didn't have any opportunities to break her shields, this would only be 182 HP away from bringing her to maximum health. The amount of DP gained stays the same, and the extra defense is also plus 50%, which is really good, but the healing absolutely steals the spotlight. Her third skill is the exact opposite type of support, debuffing enemies. She stops attacking, and this time immediately obtains 10 DP, throws the ensign towards a ground enemy in a range, and deals 240% physical damage, that being the equivalent of 1,358 at E2 max to them and any other nearby enemies, stunning them for 3 seconds.
And for the 10 seconds that this skill lasts, the enemies within the 8 surrounding tiles of the end signs will take 25% more damage. It has a pretty quick charge time of 24 seconds, and while its effects aren't on the same level of sheer insanity as the healing from skill 2, I can absolutely see this being super useful for both weakening bosses or dealing with those pesky swarms of enemies that make you wonder if you'll be able to block them all or even kill them all in time before they have to be blocked. M3ing this increases the damage 300%, an equivalent of 1,698, brings the stun up to 3.5 seconds, and the weakening up to 30%. Saileach is a super solid unit and incredibly good at what she does. When a unit's biggest downside is their cost, that speaks volumes to what they're capable of. Also, if you watched Fate Apocrypha and Jean was in your top 3 favorites, you're pretty much legally obligated to roll for Saileach. I don't make the rules, the universe does. In conclusion, supports ahoy! While the most I'll be throwing at this banner are a few headhunting tickets and overall skip for me since I have priorities when it comes to saving up, but because of that it means I can distribute all possible luck I would have had onto you. Gacha gods, be kind. While I'm always hyped for new story parts, I will admit the thing I'm most excited for when it comes to Chapter 9 is that hopefully there'll be more fan art of Outcast. Yes, she's an NPC, and I know what happens, but just look at her. I can't believe they made a character catered specifically towards me, but then didn't make her summonable. Thank you, Arknights devs. I am in immeasurable pain. Apologies for how long it took for this to come out. I haven't disappeared again. It's just that between having internet that rarely works for more than 10 minutes at a time, having a laptop that can't handle having more than 2 tabs open, as you could probably hear, having constant construction around me, and also just mental issues, it's difficult to be consistent, even when I genuinely try. With that being said, I am reopening my Patreon. It makes me feel really guilty because I don't exactly know what to do, but things are extremely difficult right now financially, and at the very least, I can guarantee that I'll draw for you. But yes, for now, that is all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day.